Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Marketing Podcast, where we talk about everything marketing and anything marketing. I remain your host, Israel Lawal, as always. Yeah. I'm a strategist. Everybody knows that, but that's aside. So, in last episode, we talked about content marketing trends for 2025, right? In major trends 2025, looking at AI, using of AI tools, and also we looked at can somebody remind me in the comment section? Talked about video dominance and also the use of data in coming up with the right story or in targeting as well, right? So today we'll be looking at content marketing strategies that actually work. We're looking at it in three forms. One, we're looking at content pillars. We'll be looking at storytelling, the power of storytelling. We'll be looking at building a content calendar, right? So those are the three things we're looking at in today's episode. I know a lot of us might know what content pillars is all about, especially people who are already in the game in the field of marketing or people or social media managers, especially because I know a lot of social medias come up with a lot of strategies, a lot of content, and all that. You will know what content pillars is all about. But in this podcast or in this marketing podcast, we try to focus more on people who are not fully learned in the marketing field, right? Who know how to grow their business and how to push their business out. Our major focus is on them, not really experts. I was a marketing so yeah, not focusing more on business. So I will move on to some of our terminologies into the simpler terms so that you all can easily understand as well. So now what do I mean by content pillars? I'm going to break it down. Content pillars is basically as a branch, right? So those branches of pillars and those branches are basically businesses needs, right? So those needs are the pieces of content that we actually try to create, right? So before coming up with an actual content, we have to have content pillars. Now, let me break it down as well. Okay, what I'm going to do is for those of us watching, if you have any business, right, that you've not been able to know how to go about it in creating content, what you just do for me is on the comment section, just type the name of your business and also what your business is all about. And I promise to get back to everyone with the right content pillars in my next episode. I'll come up with the right content pillars for each of your brands. I don't need to know much about your brand, right? So just tell me what your brand is all about and the name of your brand, and I'll try my possible best to come up with content pillars for each of you. Thank you. So now, if you own an healthy food blog, right, and you don't know how to go about it, now there are different content pillars, right? You can create for an healthy food blog post. You can look at content pillars like healthy recipe, sustainable food, nutrition, and wellness, right? Those are like content pillars. But if you want to actually go in depth in getting actual topic, let me use LD recipe, right? You want to create content, you have to think of different topics, right? That you know that your brand can actually resonate with, and you know that you'll be able to build authority on that topic. Now, I want to create a topic. I can decide to say 30-minute dinner, right? 30 minutes dinner, that is a topic, right? And I try to now start creating topics around it because it relates to what my business is all about, right? I can also say easy vegan breakfast food. That is another topic I could come up with, or I could say healthy dessert recipe, right? That is also a content idea or a content topic. We are into food, so we know how to. Some of us will definitely know how to come up with healthy dessert food, right? So you create a storyline around that. Now that is what is going to drive us into the third point, which is on storyline or storytelling. I'll come into that. So now, what are the key benefits of coming up with content pillars? I will mention about 5. One, it helps you stay on track and helps you avoid irrelevant content. 2, it increases consistency. It helps you better your audience targeting. It also improves SEO and also it enhances your brand authority. Now we look at storytelling. We just looked at the first bit, which is on creating content pillars for your product, your brand, or whatnot. Now we're looking at storytelling. Now, storytelling in content marketing is not just telling a good tale. It is about connecting with your audience on an emotional level and building a deeper understanding or a deeper relationship with them. Now, I'm just going to give you a few facts as to why storytelling is important and powerful. Number one, storytelling actually evokes the emotion of your audience. It can be joyful, it can be sadness, it can be whatever that makes up emotion, right? So that way, it has a way of connecting you or your brand to your audience with the right storytelling. So that way, you have like a deeper connections with your audience. Once your brand connects with the emotions of your audience, right, they are more likely to remember your product or remember your brand and create a form of loyalty, right? Depending on how your story is being told, right? Like I was saying in my previous video, like I said, I always have issues with some certain arts that I see online. Why? Because I might not be their target audience, and the storyline they are giving me does not speak well to me. I know I was having a conversation recently with some people and some family friends, right? So we tackled, because they watched my previous blog post, and we argued more on this. And they were like, the house that have been running makes perfect sense. Why? Because it actually speaks to them. Now, I might be expecting a different kind of messaging, right? But I feel like those people are sending the particular message that they feel their target audience understand. So for me not to understand what they are saying, that shows that I'm actually not their audience to start with, right? I'm not really interested. I don't even need to go and start making my research about them. Why? Because I know what the how they just put out does not speak well for me, and sorry, I can't take that brand, or um I can't buy that product. I can't do whatever with it, whatever the product is all about. I can't do anything with it, right? So I'm not for that product. It might speak well to them. That is them, right? So choose your storyline. Choose a better story that can connect with the emotions of your audience if you know who your audience are. It also builds trust and credibility. It makes your brand memorable. It also makes your brand different from competitors. Now, the way competition works is, if you are able to identify who your competitors are and the kind of messaging they are actually dishing out, right? That will also help you in organizing your own storyline to be different and be better than what your competitors are dropping, right? And it will make you stand out. I think that's what has made the likes of Pepsi, the likes of Coca-Cola, the likes of what other brands stand out, because their storyline are top notch, right? There are other products, right? They are still coming up little by little. They're trying to be in the category of where Coca-Cola and Pepsi are. They are trying a lot to beat their storyline. It's a bit difficult, but it does not mean their storyline does not make sense. It actually makes a lot of sense, right? Now we're in a new generation, and different things or different contents, different ideas are being brought to life. But because Coca-Cola has maintained that brand identity, right? They're always coming up with new things. No matter the generation, Coca-Cola has been in existence for a long time, right? And they've tried to maintain that brand loyalty. They've tried to maintain that brand identity. They've maintained it in such a way that for generations to come, it's very difficult for other brands to come and beat them. Why? Because they are always evolving. They're always optimizing. They're always looking at their competitors are trying to beat them, right? So they try as much as possible to optimize their storyline on the go, as well as Pepsi. Pepsi too are also doing the same thing, right? They're also doing the same thing. So yeah, I think for us to get to that level, we need to have those kind of ideas, all those kind of reviews, all those kind of analytics. Like I said in my previous video regarding data, having the right data will actually help you in creating the right storyline, right? And also understand your competitors better, understand what your competitors are doing and where they are lacking. For example, if I own a brand and I want to beat the category of Coca-Cola or Pepsi, and I want to be above them, trust me, Coca-Cola and Pepsi have a weak point, right? Based on their media mix, right? They might have a weak point. I'm going to focus on them. I think in marketing there's what they call this BDI and something. I'm trying to remember. Sorry, I'm trying to remember them. But then, if I'm able to understand their weak points, I'm going to focus all my budget on their weak point and create a storyline that is going to be as catchy as anything. I'm going to get even their audience, right? But it might be difficult to penetrate that market, but either ways. But I'm just trying to just give you an idea of how to create a storyline that will make significant change for your brand. A good storyline can also increase engagements for your platforms, either on TikTok, on Instagram, wherever it is you want to post, right? It will create massive engagement. You get a lot of comments, a lot of shares, a lot of likes, depending on what your storyline is all about. If it's as good as anything and it makes perfect sense and it's connecting to the emotions of your audience. Now, there are tips for effective storytelling. I'm just going to give you a few points that I wrote down. Know your audience, stay with a strong hook, keep it simple, right? Keep your storyline as simple as possible. Use vivid language, and also end with a call to action. Now, that call to action is as important as anything. No matter how your storyline is all about, try to end it with a call to action. So yeah, that's the trick about storytelling. Now we look at something we call content calendar. Content calendar is very, 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 very essential in content marketing. Um, if you're a business owner, like I earlier said, and you don't know how to go about your marketing procedures or marketing activities or in creating content for your brand, and you want to get a social media manager, right? First thing you should always ask for, right? Are you creating a content calendar for me? Right? That way it keeps you on track. Even if you want to do it yourself, you want to create content yourself, try to make sure you have a content calendar. Creating a content calendar is as simple as anything. It's just basically touch points, right? Now you're looking at you can use tools like Google Sheets, right? Google Sheets. So when I made content calendar, it's just like a calendar. You know the normal calendar you have where you have 1, 2, 3, the dates are there, right? And on your phone you have calendar, and at the end of the day you're adding tasks that you want to do to it, which makes perfect sense. So content calendar is like that. But what makes it different from the usual calendar and your task calendar is that for it's more or less like you are scheduling a post, right? You want to schedule a post. Now, before scheduling a post, you'll have created all your content. You have to be as proactive as possible in creating your content. Now, you schedule it in such a way that content one, this is the topic, right? Who are the key audience? Are they age 18 to 17 and whatnot, right? Who are they? You have that in place. You also have like the keywords, the publication, the platform you want to post. Is it on TikTok or on whatever? So you have that called out, right? Are you doing now? If it's a 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks content calendar, you have to make sure it's well arranged and organized. It's just like project management, right? Where everything needs to be called out, right? You need to understand, or you need to know when each post has to go out or have to go out, right? It has to be as organized as possible. Now, in creating your content calendar, you have to be as realistic as possible, right? Don't don't do too much. Don't over plan yourself, right? You have to be as strategic as possible. Now, in coming up with calendar as well, I earlier said something about data, right? So you need to understand your audiences, especially when they are online, right? When they are browsing their phone. That way, it will help you understand how to create your content calendar. Are your audiences available online on Mondays? Right? Are they available on Tuesdays? Are they available on Wednesdays? You try to see the data, the analytics, right? The trend to see if they are more active during the weekday or in the weekends or in the morning of weekday, morning of weekends, or evening of weekday, depending on the timing, right? So you need to understand that. So that way it will help you and guide you in creating your content calendar. Don't forget, you can also optimize your content calendar as well. If you see that the viewership pattern of your audience has changed, right? So you can optimize as well to change the date. So you have to know, are you posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, and whatnot? So you have to know all that. But those insights are being gotten through your data, right? So you need to know. That will also guide you in creating your content calendar, right? Be as simple as possible for a start, right? Be as simple as possible, right? So that way you're able to track and analyze better, right? And that way you can also monitor the performance of your post, right? Because I know a lot of people, what we do is once we create content, we are posting, that is all. We don't even go back to check the analytics of what we posted to see the number of views. We just we have created, let us, and that is all. And sometimes we always delete. But most our advice, don't delete your content, right? You can save it in a drive, because that way it will guide you in doing your review, right? You have to find a way of reviewing your content, and your content calendar will actually guide you as well. Now, simple tool you can use in creating your content calendar is like Google Sheets. You can also use Excel, right? Use Excel or Google Sheets. You can also use your Google Calendar, but that is a bit tricky for people, right? Well, because it might actually affect your normal day-to-day calendar and stuff like that. But simplest way, keep it simple. You can use a Google Sheet or use Excel. And my advice to you when creating content calendar is don't be afraid to experiment. You can experiment. I know on Facebook they do a lot of A and B testing and stuff like that. You can experiment. There's room for experimenting. But if you want to experiment, you want to post and see how the post is going to do for like the first day, and you see that you don't have anything, just you can quickly delete, change your content, right? Experiment. And that's because to the end of today's podcast. If you've learned anything or you have questions, kindly comment on the comment section. Let me know your ideas or how you feel if you're having challenges in coming up with content ideas for your brand, right? Just let me know. I'll be able to address it in the next episode. And thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. I see everything that we all do, but let's do like let's like this episode and let's share with our friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. And if you're a new subscriber, try to subscribe and go through all our previous content. Thank you for staying to this time with me, and have a lovely day. Peace.